Sanctuary has been a blessing to me, one that you kind of know you wanted, but didn't realize how much you needed it, right? In the sense that for me, it offered that the word is just what it is, a sanctuary, a safe spot where I could go and just listen or be among peers going through what I'm facing, and know that I could learn from them and also share what I am going through, and collectively we could, walk this whole journey together. It offered that sort of environment for me, to be able to have that safe spot of just people who understand what it means running a business or a startup in this part of the world, and how challenging it can be, and just hearing other people express what you're feeling or you felt and dealt with in a very safe environment, non-judgmental, an area where everybody fully understands because we are all in it, and can relate. And I think that was it for me, that level of intimacy and comfort that comes from just being among you know your own kin, so to speak. Yeah, so I think somewhere along the line we're having conversations and trying to determine, and it became an issue of retention, development, patience, and strategic resource development in the face of urgent business imperatives. And the decision was, or the discussion hovered around, what do you do in terms of where you need certain resources, human resources, or skill force update, and the business is asking for it now. You have some dedicated or loyal team members that may not be at that skill set or growth level, and how do you balance that? And I didn't realize that this was something that a lot of people were also grappling with, or and all. And one of our colleagues explained how he was going through it, and how he had dealt with a similar one. And it just became an aha moment where I realized, I wasn't alone in this, or in this way of thinking, and that somebody had done this to a successful end. And what we were doing in Revna was basically similar to what someone had done and essentially validated. It was just that aha moment of knowing how to balance that urgent need from a business strategic perspective, as well as from an HR, human resource management perspective, of determining which goes first, and how much you can hold some of these back while the business is waiting for these growth imperatives, and the trade-offs one way or the other. So that for me was that aha moment where I realized in the sanctuary that our problems are kind of very similar, even though we come from different niches, or industries. Exactly. So that was that aha moment that even made my affinity and appreciation of the sanctuary even more enhanced. So I'll start with the one component of it that made things so much easy for all of us. It was just that space, that confidential community that was created, where we all went in there with this sort of unspoken but very audible sort of disclaimer that whatever's discussed stays there. And we all got very comfortable with that, to the extent that it was easy for people to be vulnerable, not emotionally vulnerable, but vulnerable to say, look, this is what I'm doing. I know it's not the best, but situationally, this is what I find myself in, and this is what I'm doing, or how I am doing this to get myself out of it. Has anyone else been in this situation, or that kind of a thing? So that openness, where people knew, or where all of us knew that we could be vulnerable, we could be human, we could be mortal in that sense, or imperfect in that sense, to say, listen, this is what I'm dealing with. I don't think I'm dealing with it the right way or the best way, but in this situation, this is the best I can give, or this is how I am doing it. How else do you guys think I can resolve this? That was by itself an enabling environment that allowed other things to grow. Then you're talking about peer wisdom. What is it that we're learning from other people? What is it that somebody has learned either the hard way or by happenstance? And so you can then live vicariously through another person, and not have to make those mistakes, if there are mistakes, or take their perspectives, their experiences, and enrich yours, so you make better decisions than they did in similar situations. I think what it's done is it's given me these intentional breaks to enrich myself. We've been talking, just before we started, Rita, you realize that we're talking about how similar our schedules have been and all of those things. But what the sanctuary has done, for me, is that it's given me this immovable pause that I need to take at every scheduled time, to just enrich myself, so I can actually be better for the team and for the company. It is that forced pause to essentially, yes, enrich myself, so I can be better as a leader, as a person, as as a representative of the company, or a leader of the company, to ensure that we hit the milestones that we set for ourselves, or we need to accomplish. But on that personal note as well, I think that what it does is that it gives me the opportunity to listen to others, learn, and then make those transitions, to my leadership style, as I listen to others, hear what others have done, and all. So it gives you that pause to learn, but then also to then be adaptive in how you approach things, how you lead as well. So you don't make certain mistakes if you can avoid them, but then also that you're better as a result of the community that you're associating and affiliating yourself with. So yes, I remember the very first meeting. I think I was on my way from South Africa to Ghana, and it was just such an uncomfortable time to get on the call. And I was looking at it and saying, 90 minutes with people I've never met before. What are we going to be talking about, and all of it? But I took the call. I think it was somewhere in the airport or something. Took the call, and I was embarrassed for myself, in the sense that I left the first meeting thinking, wow, and to think that I was that close to not joining and using travel as the excuse, because yes, I could have sat there, to some urgent emails and all. Those emails still waited, those urgent things still waited, but just taking that pause, even during transit, to spend 90 minutes with people, doing similar things, walking that path, gave me a better sense of perspective, but then also refreshed me, even in that context, that when I went back to then do, that needed to be done, in a better disposition. And that's the whole point. That's, we show up each time with the best versions of ourselves, all things considered, in that moment, to make that sort of um, good decision that needs to be made as you do your job, as you lead the team, and continue to evolve the business. And for me, that is the whole point. That pause, that intentional or forced pause, gives you that moment of catching your breath and then seeing things a bit more clearly than you would if you were breathless trying to look and take those decisions. I can never run out of praises for Adeolu for what she's done. It's like that person who knows what you need even before you know you have a need. um and she is meticulous about it. She's not pushy about it, but she is persistent enough for you to realize, this thing needs my attention. I need to stop and give it some attention. And she has this way of weaving these things and making these connections and creating that sort of environment for you to thrive. And I think that's evident in the sanctuary. All of us just go in there, and you can tell from the very first minute to the last minute, people just get in, and you can see the transition in people's looks and faces and the demeanor and all. And at the end, nobody wants to leave. Even 90 minutes after talking, everybody wishes we could just stay on and just keep enjoying that friendship, that kinship, that environment, um, that we have. So again, it's kudos to Adeolu and Zeh for what you guys have done. The environment is spot on. Your level of dedication to what you're offering and co-creating is very admirable, and we're grateful.